Vale, pues para seguir un poco con la presentación también de Juan, sí que hay cosas que él ya, digamos, ha discutido de alguna forma. Intentaré ampliarlo un poco, pero claramente con menos gracia. Digamos, lo que queríamos aquí es decir algo que cambio de paradigma también es algo como mentalizar, ¿no? Cambiar un poco el chip del tema, que es algo sumamente tecnológico, ¿no? Mirar un poco los retos, cómo invertir y cómo mejorar, digamos, la continuidad de una empresa. Entonces, aquí la cuestión es, la ciberseguridad es una cuestión empresarial o, digamos, estratégica, o es meramente tecnológica. Aquí quiero hacer referencia a un chart de AON, no sé si sabéis quién son, pero es una aseguradora muy grande inglesa, que a mí me pone de los nervios porque es la patrocinadora de la Premier League. Pero lo que veis aquí es un poco, han hecho un esquema, digamos, de riesgos. Entonces, ellos han hecho encuestas a muchas empresas y dicen qué son los riesgos más eminentes y más importantes para las empresas y cómo las podemos enfrentar a ellos. Entonces, hay algunas que son asegurables, que serían las verdes, y después hay las que no son asegurables y que son parcialmente asegurables. Y aquí tenemos todo un ranking, y nosotros aquí hemos puesto en casillas, también en rojo, las que realmente influye también la tecnología, ¿no? Si cae la tecnología, no funciona la tecnología, no está bien puesta en marcha, pues tiene mucho que ver con el daño de la reputación. Un segundo, El daño en la reputación, la competencia creciente, obviamente, el cibercrimen, que está en número 5, imaginaros, y después la incapacidad de cumplir con los pedidos y todas estas cosas, digamos, de los clientes. Entonces, yo creo que es un gráfico interesante porque nos dice claramente las inquietudes de las empresas. Dicho así, bueno, mientras estaba haciendo la presentación, esto salió a las 11 ayer, no sé si lo habéis visto, pero Trump ahora está más con el tema de la emergencia de las amenazas de IT que el muro de México. Entonces es una cosa que cada vez tiene más importancia. Si miramos, digamos, el chart este de AON y vamos palpando un poco lo que es realmente esencial para la empresa, y eso le damos la correlación con el tema de ciberseguridad, tenemos siempre tres cosas. Y yo creo que cualquier empresa de ciberseguridad siempre utiliza estos como su misión, y que es lo más crítico, ¿no? Uno es la continuidad, obviamente, de la empresa. La segunda, la reputación e imagen, y después la conformidad y cumplimiento con las normativas. Esto es, digamos, la base. La continuidad de una empresa es, y la imagen, como habéis visto también en el gráfico de AON, son esenciales. Aquí hay, obviamente, unas cosas que son importantes, porque hay muchas empresas que dicen yo no invierto en cualquier cosa que no me dé un rendimiento a corto plazo. Pero con eso, digamos, las amenazas no se van, siguen existiendo y siguen estando ahí. Es una cuestión de cuándo van a llegar. Segundo es que la ciberseguridad también tiene sus retornos sobre inversión, claramente, porque hoy en día, sobre todo en el ámbito del B2B, hay también concursos públicos y temas así que os exigen, como empresarios o como empresas, digamos, de cumplir con ciertas normativas y regulaciones. Si no, no participas, básicamente. Eso al nivel de B2B, y en el nivel de B2C, la confidencialidad, obviamente, también tiene muchísima importancia. Entonces, esto es un dato importante. ¿Cómo podemos protegernos? Pues primero lo que tenemos que decimos nosotros siempre es tenemos que identificar cuáles son nuestras joyas de la corona, ¿no? Es como yo, por tipología, ¿qué es lo que realmente es esencial para nuestra empresa? Es imposible e infumable de mirar o analizar todos los ficheros, archivos, correos electrónicos, cualquier dato de una empresa, incluso si hay mecanismos para hacerlo, pero realmente tenemos que filtrar, digamos, en varios departamentos y mirar dónde están, digamos, estas joyas y cómo protegerlas. Segundo es evaluar y cuantificar los riesgos de seguridad, ¿no? Eso hay que mirar, y hay que mirar eso en, digamos, cuáles son en el ámbito de las joyas, digamos, las tres cosas, ¿no? Los datos que son eminentemente confidenciales, la integrabilidad, que digamos que son que los datos que tengo que tienen que ser correctos, ¿no? Y tercero son, digamos, datos que son más expuestos, ¿no? Que sean disponibles por temas de transparencia, por ejemplo, de ciudadanos. Entonces, en la evaluación de lo que es la los riesgos. Tenemos que ver, digamos, qué tipo de datos tengo. Tengo ex empleados que, por ejemplo, puedan perjudicar mi reputación porque tienen datos personales. Y todas estas cosas, pues tenemos también temas, por ejemplo, de propiedad intelectual. Todo este tipo de cosas tengo que ver y cómo protegerme. Y al final tengo que tener también unos planes de contingencias, ¿no? En caso de ataque, ¿qué hago y qué son las soluciones que voy a aportar, digamos, para protegerme, para asegurarme otra vez esa continuidad? Después hay cómo protegerse de segundo. Esos tres son esenciales, pero obviamente también estos, ¿no? Entonces tenemos el tema de awareness, que es el tema de concienciar, ¿no? Tanto los empleados como también nuestros proveedores. Como decía Juan también, los ataques más eminentes vienen muchas veces justamente de terceros, no vienen solamente de nuestros propios empleados, pueden venir también de ataques digamos, de cómo hemos almacenado, por ejemplo, nuestros datos con terceros, con proveedores de servicios y también, por ejemplo, en el caso de proveedores y estar expuestos a datos de terceros, ¿no? El mindset es realmente concienciar tanto a nuestros proveedores como a nuestros propios empleados. Eso lo podemos hacer con toolkits, lo podemos hacer con aplicaciones y al final eso es asegurarnos y garantizar que la gente sepa exactamente lo que está haciendo, ¿no? Después, encontrar, digamos, gente capacitada también para, digamos, proponer este tipo de soluciones, ¿no? O bien tenemos, digamos, dentro de nuestra informática gente capacitada para manejar temas de ciberseguridad, o bien lo dejamos, digamos, en manos de externos, como los de Cámara, por ejemplo, con servicios de SOC SIM. Aquí también es un tema, obviamente, de cómo guardar la gente, ¿no? Es cómo hacemos que la gente esté en nuestra empresa y no se vaya, ¿no? Esto es un tema, obviamente, de recursos humanos. Y después, como adoptar las medidas, digamos, como última forma para protegerse, básicas de seguridad, ¿no? Entonces, temas como IAM, acceso a edificios, dos factors authentication, hacer siempre copias y todo este tipo de soluciones para poder enfrentarse a esto. Bueno, aquí la cuestión, digamos, de todas siempre es cómo invertimos correctamente en ciberseguridad, ¿no? Entonces, lo primero es no invertir solo en tecnología, también como decía Juan, podemos poner muchos firewalls, mucha tecnología y amontonar tecnología, pero no es la solución. Hay que ser más ágil y más inteligente, digamos, en los gastos que hacemos en ciberseguridad. Segundo es entender tus riesgos en base, digamos, a las joyas que hemos identificado. Crear una estrategia que combine soluciones, tecnología, procesos, personas y proveedores acorde a su gobierno corporativo, ¿no? Esto es también esencial. Y no invertir por acumulación de tecnología. No es solamente una cuestión de dinero, es una cuestión, digamos, de hacer esto de forma inteligente y ágil. Y también seguir desarrollando el negocio conforme a esos estándares que nosotros hemos puesto. Cambio de paradigma, diría una vez más que el tema en nuestros discursos con muchos clientes es que se ve siempre, digamos, un discurso meramente tecnológico, ¿no? Y aquí creo que hay un cambio de paradigma que tenemos que contemplar, que es adoptar la seguridad como un elemento de negocio y no solamente tecnológico. Segundo punto es que no es solamente el departamento de TI, como digo. La empresa que lo hacen tiene obviamente más éxito y que esto no siempre tiene que salir solamente, digamos, de los departamentos tecnológicos. Lo que sí que suelo ver es que es una cuestión meramente tecnológica, IT o TIC, y es algo que tiene que ser mucho más transversal y más lógico en el gasto. Y creo que ahora dejo la palabra a Daniel. Are you ready?
Good morning. My name is Daniel, or in the Netherlands we say Daniel, and in the Netherlands we call my name Daniel van Slochteren, but I'm not asking you to repeat that in Spanish. So thank you for coming over. I'm the CEO of Kahuna, also in the advisory board of EOS Amsterdam and the Eurochain. So I do a lot in the blockchain industry as well. I'm in the advisory board of the UPV for the Master of Cybersecurity. And till last November, I was for a couple of years the interim CIO of Europe Hotels. That's an European hotel chain. So I do different things. So I'm an integrator, the CEO of an integrator. So we do a lot with cybersecurity, with the technology, with the services. I do a lot of research in the UPV. So we look to big data, Internet of Things, virtual reality. But on the other side, I was also sitting on your side of the table, dealing with all the challenges you daily have. So my colleagues, they already told you a lot about Kahuna, who we are. We are European cybersecurity, MSSP. We are based in the Netherlands, in Belgium, and here in Spain, in Valencia. But for today, I would like to talk about more the future. Are you future-proof? And I'm lucky that I can talk almost every day to an audience. And when I ask my audience, are you future-proof? Well, it's really hard to say, isn't it? So, for example, is your environment in your company, is it future-proof for the upcoming 3 till 5 years? Yes. Yeah, security is one part. But when I talk about future-proof, I understand because today we talk about cybersecurity. But future-proof, I mean the business is adopting all kind of new innovations. If I look into the healthcare industry, they are using virtual reality. If I look in the harbor industry, they are using artificial intelligence, they are using virtual reality, etc. So a lot of companies are adopting all those innovations. And it's great to have the benefits, but you can also have some challenges. So just for my imagination, who thinks his company is future-proof? Okay, just to check if everybody's awake. Who think that his company is not future-proof? Please raise your hand if you believe you're not future-proof. Only one. What, is your company future-proof? So? Yes? I will show you. I will show you what I mean. And I will show you the benefits of the next generation restaurant, for example. Because we all love innovations. This is skull mapping. So I was in the hospitality industry as a CIO. And the CEO asked me, what will be the next generation restaurant? So what is happening here? In the next generation restaurant, you will have skull mapping. That means you have 2 projectors putting on the screen, and while you are waiting for your food, they show you how they prepare your food, what you will get served. It's fun, isn't it? So during my presentation, I will give you a mix of my former job as the CIO what I do nowadays with Kahuna and what kind of research we do in the UPV. So, but you can imagine if you're gonna work in an environment like this, if you would like to entertain your clients in a restaurant like this, it will bring you a lot of new big data. And Juan already mentioned big data, but think about this, guys. In 2019, 2.3 billion Facebook users, but what about this? 2020. Every person will generate 1.7 MB per second. Wow. 1.7 MB per second. Think about this. How can you protect 1.7 MB per second? You can't. You can't protect all your data anymore in future. It's nice when a security guy says you can't protect, isn't it? So just to check if we really understand how many data we will have in future. Well, I love puzzles and quizzes. So, what do you think? How many data will we have? No English? How many data do you think we will have in 2020? Guess. 5? Who says more? Okay. Who says more than 10 trillion? Okay. Well, the right answer, 40 trillion is the right answer that we will have of gigabytes in 2020. I'm not telling you not to adopt innovations. Seize the innovation, but be aware of the potential risks it will bring into your company. So, artificial intelligence. Interesting. So, well, in the UK, they have other problems now, but the chief economist of the Bank of England, he already told us in 2018 that he is worried what robots will do into the world. Could you lose your job through a robot? Could a robot replace you? What do you think?
At all, no. I think the robot, no.
Okay. Who thinks that a robot could replace his job? Okay. I will show you some examples later on how they replaced the people. Is it bad? I don't know. It could create a lot of new benefits and opportunities. It's not wrong if robots take over some, well, parts of your job or your job. That will not say that you will lose your job, but it can bring the company new opportunities and to grow into new markets. The only thing is, who has seen the movie iRobot? It could also go wrong. Yeah? The future of the artificial intelligence, the robots, they bring us tremendously new opportunities, but you also need to manage and to understand. And the question to me was, okay, Daniel, how will you protect an environment where our clients have robots? So when I was in the hospitality industry, who of you, everybody sleeps sometimes in a hotel, right? Yes? And in the hotel industry, you have the loyalty memberships. So you could why do we have memberships? Because of the fact you could generate discount, you could get upgrades, faster check-in, etc. So if I would put cameras into the entrance of a hotel or restaurant, then I could recognize my loyalty members. So you come in, I recognize your face, you don't have to check in anymore, your key is ready. Great benefit, isn't it? Great benefit. But what about privacy? No privacy. You don't have any privacy. Because we could even go that far that we could see in a restaurant or a pub how many people are man or woman. What is the average age of the person, and are you looking happy or not? So when you're sitting in the restaurant table and you're not looking happy, we can see there will go an alert off to one of our hosts, and she will go directly to you if something is wrong. For the cybercrime industry, it's also a big opportunity, because they will learn and understand your behavior. You know, Internet of Things. How many devices do you think, sir, with the blue, yes, how many devices do you think you will have connected to the internet at the moment? Yes. In total, business, private. Yes. Okay. Guys, what do you think? How many devices do you have connected to the internet? It's not only your PlayStation and your television. Okay. It depends on the region where I ask this. Yesterday I was giving a presentation in the Netherlands, and the average of the group was 40 devices. If I ask it in Asia, it's even more. In Spain, it's lower. For me as a hacker, sorry, I also have some background. It's a big opportunity as well. Of course, it will bring you a lot of opportunities. When your television is connected to the internet, when your fridge is connected to the internet, when your printer is connected to the internet. Because if your printer is connected to the internet and you're almost out of power or ink, and then HP will send you the new colors already, because they know you're only in the last 20%. Great. But it is connected to the internet. It's talking to the internet. Well, for the hacker, for a botnet, with a DDoS attack, it's great, because you can do really big DDoS attacks nowadays. But the problem is, I know your behavior. Because when your coffee machine is connected to the internet, like this, because this is the future, people, sorry I have to say, but in the future everything will be connected to the internet. You already see, when I have 3 little children, and last week I was at school, and there was a seminario for all the parents arranged by the school, and then they were talking about babysitting, and they said, no, there are new technologies. And I was looking at them and I said, okay, now it's going to be interesting. Yes, you can put an app, you can download an app to your iPhone, and you can put your iPad in the baby room, and then you put both on, and you could monitor your own baby. So what we do is we put the iPad on, we connect it to the internet, and we can do remote babysitting. Think about this from a cybersecurity point of view. That's interesting. So when I break into your house, digital, or to your car, I know everything about you. I know your total behavior. I know when you drink coffee, I know when you wake up, I know when you take a shower, I know when you leave the house, everything. For cybercrime, it's perfect because everything starts with social engineering. I know when you're not at home. Well, I can make sure when you're not at home, I will be in your home. Yeah. So, we were talking about devices. So, how many devices will be connected in 2021 to the internet? Please. 36 billion. 100? 100? 21? 100? Well, I have some really modern guys here in the group because 100, almost correct, but that will be in 2023. No, in 2021, we only have 36 billion. Do you know how many zeros that is? 36 billion? It's insane. We connect everything to the internet. That's the reason we will generate so many big data. And that's the reason I'm telling you, you can't protect all your data anymore. Open source, forget it in future. The data, everything goes too fast that you can't keep it up to speed with open source. Oh, this one is great. Virtual reality. I really like virtual reality. Guys, in the end, not because of the adult industry, because, by the way, that's where it started, virtual reality. The same like the internet. The internet became big because of the adult industry. The virtual reality industry brings us a lot of new benefits. Take, for example, the harbor industry. They have the big machines. One machine in the harbor costs millions. But you need to train the people so they can be an engineer in the machine. And it's like Star Wars. If you go to the big harbors, they have tremendous machines. So they train their people by virtual reality. In the healthcare industry, they do operations by virtual reality. How can you protect a virtual reality environment? Would it be the same with a firewall and antivirus? Maybe an authentication server? I have no idea. Do you think? So, if you would like to protect a virtual reality environment, you need to understand the technology behind. You need to understand the programs. It's not going to be easy. But the challenge will be because the business sees the benefits of virtual reality. So, I was in a discussion with a really big European cinema group. You know cinema? When you watch movies, the big cinemas? And he was telling me, in this September, we will have our first virtual reality cinema. Great, isn't it? Well, we have some challenges. Do you know that your brain, after 30 minutes, when you're busy in a virtual reality, you will have some challenges regarding dizziness and disorientation. So we put on the glass of virtual reality. You are busy, but after 30 minutes, when you put off your glass, you have no idea where you are, what you do. It's strange. And I was in the test in a lab a couple of months ago, and they did it with me. Oh, I was screwed, to be honest, because they gave me all the instruments, and then they said, I had globes on my hand, and they say, raise that button. So I did, and I thought I was going up in a building like 50 meters. And then they said, take a step in front, another one. And I thought, this is the end of my life. And then they said again, take an extra step. And I couldn't. I couldn't take that extra step because I thought I will fall down 50 meters. So if you have a cinema with virtual reality, well, when I saw, well, it was in the 70s, and I think a lot of the people were born in the 70s, we all saw Jaws. Who didn't see Jaws? The movie with the shark, the big white shark. The first time I saw Jaws, it cost me 3 months because before I would enter the sea, because I was scared like hell. And this was the first step into the sea, and I was looking, even when the water was just like this, if there is not a white shark in my environment. Can you imagine when you look in the cinema, Jaws, with virtual reality, and when you have some hard challenges, boom, 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 you could die. Because you would think you're gonna be eaten by a shark. You could have a heart attack. So how does it work? With insurance, incident and response. How can you make sure that everybody is allowed to visit that cinema? Maybe you need to do some preparations. Yeah. So again, virtual reality brings a lot of opportunities, but also challenges. How could it be possible that that you see often in the US, that young people know exactly how to use a machine gun, and they kill other children in a school? It's because of the games and virtual reality. I have no idea how I could work with a machine gun. How could they? Because they can learn online. The internet is telling them, and the games are explaining them, how to use weapons. So back to the hospitality industry, and I have a little bit of frustration, to be honest. And my frustration is when I'm in a restaurant and I look to other restaurant tables, I see a lot of people only with a mobile phone, and they don't talk. If you look to the millennium, the young people, when you are in a restaurant, they don't talk to each other, they app. That's weird. For me, that is weird. Because I was used and raised in a world where when we are in a restaurant, we talk to each other. If you go to Asia or US, they don't talk anymore. UK as well. They only sit with their mobile. And when I go to Amsterdam, they only sit with their mobile. They are chatting. Yeah? When I'm in a restaurant, I would like to talk with all the people who are sitting next to me, but I also would like to talk with the sommelier, to the host. What is the recommendation of the day? What kind of wine do you recommend me? Well, I don't want to talk to a robot. Dear robot, what do you think of this wine? It would be great. What? Does this wine? Yes, no. This is the future. Unfortunately. And I'm not telling you this will happen in Valencia in 1 or 2 years. But it's weird that in a lot of parts of the world, they already have robots. And then again, could a robot replace your job? If I would go to the beach, the Malvarosa beach now, and I would ask all the waiters, could a robot replace your job? What do you think? That everybody would say, yeah, of course. No, a lot of people, no. You have the personal touch. You have this, you have that. But at the end, they are. Another question for all of you. This is interesting, because when we are going to order food by robots. So, who knows Siri? Everybody knows Siri. You know Siri on your iPhone? Yes? Yes. Google Home. Yeah, you know Google Home? No, Google Home? Oh. So what you see is that people wake up, they say, "Dear Google, put on the lights, put on the heater, put on the oven." And Google puts everything on in your house. In the big cities, and in Asia and US, in a lot of, well, in Europe we are a little bit behind versus other regions, and even in the Nordics they are using that a lot. If you go to Norway, to Sweden, Denmark, and even in the Netherlands, I stayed at some friends of mine. I think it was during the Christmas period, and I was sleeping at their place as well. And in the morning, that guy, he was not talking to me, he was only talking to Google Home. That's a little bit weird to me. So how many, from which point in time do we expect more interaction to computer systems versus human communication? Sir, what do you think? 2025? Yes? Who thinks 2025? You think? You think? Yeah. 2023? You're the only person here in the room who starts talking in 2023. 2022? Yes? And what about next year? Right? Sorry, guys. In 2020, the average in the world will be that people talk more to computer systems versus human people. It's not me who thought of. No, this is research coming from a lot of universities all over the world. Because in some areas of the world, it is already. It was 2018. Yes? If you go to Hong Kong, if you go to Japan, they are used to it. It's a weird world, isn't it? So, great all the benefits of all the innovations. And I'm not telling you not to adopt the innovation. But what I'm trying to help you is please be aware of the potential company risks you will have by adopting the new innovation. So then again, are you future-proof? And what is really weird for me is if you look into the cybersecurity industry, people are still investing, and in special government, it's weird, huh? People let's say, is there somebody from the government here? Nobody from the government? So I can make jokes about the government? Okay, so this is what government does. They invest for 4 or 5 years in security toolings. If you know that the data is growing that fast, if you know that the world will change really fast in the upcoming years, how could you invest for the upcoming 5 years in security toolings? I can tell you one thing, 5 years ago, who was working with social media 5 years ago? Who had WhatsApp 5 years ago? Serious? So you were one of the first. But in a company, 5 years ago, a lot of companies were not even using Facebook as a business application. A lot of companies were not using YouTube as a business application. Nowadays, everybody is using those applications for business because marketing needs them, HR needs them, sales needs them, training institutes needs them. So the world is adopting all those cloud applications as well. So how could you make investments for 5 years upfront in cybersecurity? Well, it's great to me if you buy a firewall for 5 years, but I don't believe in it anymore. And I don't believe that you could protect all your company data. So, dear Kahuna, how can you? Well, what we do, yes, we deliver products. But to be honest, I don't care about the product. What is interesting for me, two things, your global governance. What is your governance? And we translate the governance into IT ops security. And the second thing is, I would prefer only to protect your crown jewels. What does it mean? So, dear CIO, what is really important to you? What's your worst nightmare? Dear CMO, what is your worst nightmare? Or e-commerce director, maybe they have an online platform and they do garage sale online. For them it's really important, and for the CMO, that the platform online is really secure and it needs to work continuously. If I would ask a CFO what is really important to you, he would say maybe a financial application, he want to make sure there is no fraud. So it depends on the business. I don't believe that IT is the right department to decide where to invest in new cybersecurity technology. I think the business owners should make that decision. The business, they are the owners of the data. We are not the owners of the data. We are offering services and facilitating the business. And we need to know what kind of risks does the business wants to take. And then you can make a plan and implement the plan, and we can help you with this. Then we can say, okay, if this is important to the CFO, then we need to protect that part. Forget the rest, focus on that part. If this is important to the CIO, then we focus on this area, etc. Embrace the breach. Realize that you will lose data. Realize that you will be hacked. Realize that you are not in control in future anymore because the world is changing too fast. There is more money in the cybercrime industry than they are spending in the drugs industry nowadays. What do you think, with your team of 4 or 5 people, that you can protect yourself? No, of course not. Of course, what can you do? So when I was in the oceanographic, you know, everybody here knows the oceanographic, yeah, in Valencia. And last year we had a big security conference and we were visiting and did presentations in the oceanographic. And at the end we went backstage. Have you been backstage in oceanographic? Yes? Walked on above the sharks? Yeah, I have something against, I'm always afraid for sharks, so this was not my moment, to be honest. Yeah. When you walk in the tunnel, you think the sharks are not that big. When you are standing above, then you see, wait a minute, the glass is making everything smaller. Those are tiger sharks from 3 meters. So we were walking above, and then there was a map, and it says, maximum 640 kilos. I was walking there with 20 people. I was scared like hell. And then I was asking the lady who gives the tour, I said, whoa. What if something goes wrong now and we fall into the water? And she was telling me, she gave me 2 tips. She said, 1, go as fast as you can to the exit. What do you think? When I fall into the water, that I think that I know where the exit will be? I have no idea. It's really big. And the second tip is, and that's the same in the cybersecurity, make sure that you swim a little bit faster than your neighbor. That was her tip. Yeah. So in the hacker industry, a lot of hackers, what they do is they take an IP range in a country and they start doing basic attacks to the whole range. It's the same as if you have 5 houses, I'm knocking on all the doors and checking if all the windows are closed. And the one which is open, that's the easiest one for me. And that's what I'm trying to say. Make sure that you swim a little bit faster and better than your neighbor does. Yeah. So, no, you can take. We put it on speaker. Maybe it's about cybersecurity. By the way, guys, the two in the middle with the laptops. Hi. May I give you one tip? Never, ever leave the room when I'm sitting there when your laptop is open and on. I didn't do anything for this time, but next time I will. That's also cybersecurity. You both left at the same moment, and I was sitting 2 rows behind. And your laptop was not locked. It was still open, but you left us first. So if I wanted, I could sit behind and do a lot of social engineering and a lot of stuff. That's also cybersecurity. Hackers do everything you don't expect. So be aware, adopt the innovations, and we can help you. And we have the SOC here in the Netherlands. We have a SOC in Valencia, and we can help you to protect only the most important things for your company. Yes, we did SIEM already 10 years ago. Everybody knows SIEM, Security Incident and Event Management. But because of the fact the data is growing too fast, you can't make correlations between everything anymore. So we only make the correlations with the data we need, the logging we need to protect your jewels. So thank you. Bernard? Juan? Is there something I forgot and you would like to mention in Spanish as well? Yes, yes. So, one of the last things what is good to mention is, Bernard asked me, please explain a little bit more how we secure the environments. Yes, we deliver all kinds of security toolings. But what we do, for example, we do an inventory of the business requirements, what they would like to protect. And then we isolate that part in a company. And how we do this is taking the logging of tools which are allowed to protect in basic, and we make correlations between their datas. For example, if you have some really important data on a virtual machine, let's call it on a host, and it's virtual machine 5. Yes, don't forget virtual machine 5. And we see in the beginning, everybody has firewalls, right? Yeah? You never know if somebody passed. So if a Chinese guy, and I'm not telling you that all the Chinese are knocking on your doors, but if a Chinese guy, for example, is knocking on your firewall, you never know if he passed. You only know he knocked on your door, because that's what is your Palo Alto, Checkpoint, Sonic Wall, or whatever is showing you. Yeah? No idea. You have your endpoint security with your antivirus, and I know Panda is really close to the Valencia region, so I know a lot of companies are using Panda. Great, or McAfee, or Trend Micro. It's fine to me. They can tell you if there is malware on top of it, but they do nothing in threat hunting or making correlations. So when your tools, your endpoint security, and your firewall are not talking to each other, that's interesting. And for example, in my company, they know that I'm in Valencia now. So if I would check in remote now from the Netherlands, that would be weird, wouldn't it? So your authentication server generates logging as well. If I try to log in to the system for a remote SSL VPN connection, and I put 5 times the wrong password, would that be weird? Could be. But maybe I had my caps lock on. And in the IT department would say, yeah, 5 times, that's silly. Okay, but with the sales reps who are traveling a lot and marketing, I've seen it so many times, guys. People forgot their password because they have so many passwords nowadays. So they use the same password for Hotmail, WhatsApp, Booking.com, and also for in the company. And then finally, after 5 times, okay, yeah, could be, but could also be a hacker. If you have, he's working with a system that, and at the end he finds. But when your firewall is not talking to your authentication server and not talking to the endpoint, then you can't make any correlation. So what we do is we make correlation between the toolings. We let the toolings talk to each other, and we analyze this. So if you are having 10 times a wrong password, and then you get into the system, and normal you always go to virtual machine 1, but now you go to virtual machine 5. That's weird. Wrong password, strange behavior, and now you're uploading that data. Hey, that is something we could see on the endpoint. Wait a minute. Okay, let's give the command to the firewall that that person is not allowed to do anything and send out data, for example. But if you do not know that that person has strange behavior, how could you inform your firewall to go in blocking mode? You need to learn from your tools. You need to work together. Let them work together and analyze. That's what we do, and that's how we can protect your assets in your company. If you would like to see how we do this, and I think Bernard knows the exact dates. Is it the 9th and the 10th of, is it the 10th of July? Yes. The 10th of July, we have, because our office is just 200 meters away from here, we will do a SOC visit where we can show you real life how we fight against the cybercrime industry. We can show you how it works, what we do, and we will let you into our SOC and show you the real data. So if you would like to join, please let us know. We also have a big cybersecurity conference here in Valencia. It will be the 4th time. In the beginning it was an international, people were coming from all over Europe. It's not big, it's just for 40, 50 people. And what we do is we bring the cybersecurity vendor leaders coming over to Valencia. Palo Alto Networks, Proofpoint, Logarithm, Cyberism, Bomgar, Bitglass. The Polytechnical will give a lot of presentations as well. So there are a lot of leaders in the cybersecurity coming with their vice presidents, all here to Valencia, in the Westin. And we organize this event. And if you would like to join, please let my colleague know. So thank you for being here. Bernard, did I miss something?
The catering, puedo hablar en castellano ahora mejor, ¿no? ¿Habéis entendido un poco lo que ha dicho Daniel o teníais problemas de idiomas? ¿Algo así? Pero era muy figurativo, así que supongo que... De todas formas, si tenéis preguntas, un pequeño recap. Entonces hemos visto, digamos, las tendencias locales, globales, lo que explicó Juan. Un poco un recap, cómo podemos enfrentarnos y abordarlos. Después, cómo podemos invertir. Después, digamos que Daniel estaba aquí, pues quería explicaros un poco con los retos más de futurísticos, ¿no? No quiero decir que pasen mañana, pero sí que van a pasar, ¿no? En temas de inteligencia artificial, realidad virtual, IoT y todas estas cosas, que son cosas que nos vienen de forma eminente y que tenemos que considerar. Entonces, esto por una parte importante. Otra cosa que quería hacer un pequeño recap y después dejo también la palabra a mi compañero Juan, es que lo que tendréis que entender es que nosotros tenemos otra forma de abordar la ciberseguridad, ¿no? No somos una persona o una empresa que os pone, digamos, producto y más producto. Realmente hacemos un inventario y miramos, digamos, dónde están vuestras joyas y miramos por tipología realmente lo que necesitáis. Entonces podemos ofrecer eso bajo, digamos, los servicios de SOC SIM. Entonces hacemos realmente un traje a medida, lo que decimos siempre, en vez de venir con, digamos, un equipo de expertos e intentar vender cualquier cosa. Lo que también dijo Daniel es que nosotros hacemos muchos eventos. Esto es primero en la Cámara de Comercio, pero lo que también hacemos es, digamos, visitas a nuestro SOC. Está aquí a creo que 35 metros. Así que os invito también a venir a ese evento, que creo que estará por el 10 de julio, pero eso lo tengo que averiguar porque no sé exactamente. Y después tenemos eventos así más grandes, donde invitamos también a nuestros partners tecnológicos, como decía Daniel, como Palo Alto, Proofpoint, Akamai y todas estas cosas que hacen temas de firewalls, endpoint security, DDoS attacks y todas estas cosas. Y ellos cada uno presentan, digamos, durante este evento de septiembre. Entonces es un evento muy internacional, donde vienen, digamos, CISOs y técnicos, digamos, de varios ámbitos y varios sectores. Y además es un evento también bastante, no sé si la palabra correcta es lúdico, hay mucha, digamos, mucho restaurante y todas esas cosas para hacer, digamos, networking y entender también un poco las inquietudes de cada uno, ¿no? Unos aprenden de otros. El otro día también estábamos, por ejemplo, con un puerto y donde estábamos pensando de agrupar los puertos, porque ya trabajamos con varios puertos en Holanda y Bélgica para agruparlos y digamos que todos, digamos, ahí puedan hablar de digamos, sus retos en el futuro. Eso es por mí lo que quería deciros. Si os esperáis 5 minutos más está el catering, porque llegan un poco tarde, pero os invito después a tomar un café y después charlar igual en persona. Sí. Sí.
¿Cuál es el riesgo real de las Smart City, que están ahora muy de moda, como pasa, por ejemplo, en Torrent,
Sí.
respecto a todo lo que tiene?
Digamos, el Smart City en temas de IoT, ¿no? Sí, bueno, eso de IoT es el experto.